wash my soul in the ocean, in the tears of God, I let it go.
Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroLada.com, and these are your astrology videos for April 2022. The April 2022 is full of new beginnings again. All planets are moving direct, so we're continuing into new territory, a lot of new unexpected events for the whole world, but for us personally as well, where we're required to adapt and to act very fast, and we'll be surprised constantly. And the eclipses are starting. The eclipses! The whole financial situation and economy might be shaken. We already can feel it a month before that with an eclipse in Taurus, and we all have to adapt very quickly. Let's find out how it will affect you personally. It's going to be a very exciting month. And Jupiter Neptune conjunction, wow, this is divine blessings that are given to us. They almost like can fall on our lap, and divine intuition. So let's see how to adapt. But first I wanted to excitedly to tell you that I'm doing a course of 6 months. Me personally, I rarely do courses, that how to interpret the natal chart, the AstroLada method. We're going to be using all techniques that I've gathered from Western Babylonian, Greek, Vedic astrology that work the best, and I'll teach you these techniques, how to read a natal chart, to put it together, to make sense of it. And you need to know minimal astrology, what the signs are, what the planets are, what the houses mean. And I will teach you my methods, and we'll look at different life themes, how to look at love, how to look at career, and how to, if you're analyzing a chart, what's the most important things, where to start, and how to answer questions of astrology very easy. I love easy techniques. I don't like difficult astrology. Astrology should have easy answers. I'm an Aries. I need quite quick, fast, easy answers. Not looking at semi-squares and midpoints. No, it has to be very simple, sticks out. So much fire, political career, fantastic, or whatever, So I teach you how I do that with very easy astrology techniques. Join me. It's 30% discounted for the first 150 people. So thank you so much. Let's start the 12 signs. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, April 2022. Aquarius, the month starts with the new moon in our third house on the 1st of April, and there will be a renewal of communications, contacts. You might create new contacts. Mercury is also part of this conjunction. You can be more in contact. The flow of information will increase for the first 2 weeks of April. You might be talking to more people, meeting with more people daily, going on to and fro, becoming more mobile. This is the third house, rather than sedentary. Just going on short trips. The first part of April might be full of short trips, going this week here, that week here. It can also be full of a lot of communications, as we said, flow of information, some news that you receive, some documents or important piece of information, or having to deal with some papers, writing things, administrative work, new one that you undertake. Third house is the house of marketing, advertising, business, commercial activities. You might be undertaking new search or training of some sort. You might undertake some training, learning something. You just might be reading, writing, speaking, or doing some media, or being on the media a lot more. The news can grab your interest again, or writing or speaking, and speaking up your voice, because as we know, if you're Aquarius, you like your voice to be heard, because Aries is your third house, so you kind of speak out, you speak first thing, then your opinions have to be heard, because Aries, this very extroverted, opinionated sign, is your house of communications, and there's a lot of energy that is going there. It might be a good time to buy, after the new moon of 1st of April, new laptops, softwares, phones, and such things, to start new websites. And they might be speeding up and developments on some projects connected with marketing, advertising, sales, writing, speaking, media, internet, the website, software, and or projects that you're working in the commercial and sales spheres, or projects with learning new skills, or project in a small group environment, like if you're doing something with a few people, or you can start doing something like that, something new, and new associates. You can connect with new associates, or just hang out more with friends, let's say. Then there is though some difficult influences for us. While our mind is on fire, busy, 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 we're going to have Saturn and Mars conjunction in our sign on the 5th of April, and the whole month, both of them are in our sign. These are the two malefics in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign that this month is called to come out of its comfort zone the most. And in regards to challenge yourself to do difficult things, because it's in your sign. To challenge yourself to do a difficult thing that you were scared of doing before, that will require you to push hard, to face your fears, to initiate something new. Maybe something that will, especially if it's your ascendant or even sun or moon, it is again the physical body, to do something about your physical body and health. That might require you extra efforts, putting energy. So I say that one of the best manifestations of this conjunction can be starting a workout routine or something for your health. That can be a bit more, that will be, you shouldn't push yourself to the limit, but it should be consistent, because Saturn is the more powerful planet. You have to have consistent, start from April, consistent, maybe 15-20 minutes physical exercise, Mars. Otherwise, Saturn and Mars can create some health problems that come. We had Saturn and Mars very close to each other in Aquarius 2 years ago, around April. It started, I remember I was sick around that time, March and April, when they were coming close together. You know, so be careful, especially those of you who have Aquarius Sun, Moon, or Rising around 20 to 24 degrees. Saturn and Mars will join at 22 degrees. Just be a bit more cautious around the 5th of April, a few days before and after, for fighting with others, for being frustrated, for feeling more irritated, for feeling some kind of little accidents and so on, and frustrations. But otherwise, you can use this energy of Saturn and Mars, which can be extremely productive, to get a lot of work done. I've noticed other times as an Aquarius rising, when Saturn and Mars get together, yes, I can feel frustrated because we're ruled by Saturn and Mars is there, but almost like you feel pushed to do more, because this is the Mars energy you feel on our planet. And especially because Mars rules our 10th house and the 3rd house, we can become more productive to get a lot of work done. And that requires a lot of like deadlines or that consistent effort, and you can get a lot of chores done around that time, but it will require our first personal involvement, or even do some tasks connected to writing, to speaking, to mental efforts. Mars rules also the 3rd house. Or some important developments can be happening during the Mars-Saturn conjunction that directly influencing you, connected to your career, to authority figures and father figures. They might be a bit stressful as well, but it doesn't mean that the results will be negative. Or connected to some short travels, because Mars rules the 3rd house, communications, writing, speaking, news of some sorts, and documents. But you definitely can initiate something this April, because the Saturn-Mars conjunction lasts 2 years, that cycle, which involves you personally, which will take you out of your comfort zone, which will be hard at the beginning, which will require you to put everything you can to maybe change your physical health, to maybe change your appearance if it's your ascendant, to maybe change your family and personal life and relationship if it's your moon in Aquarius, or to change even your career and your goals if it's your sun. All right, then there is another big conjunction happening this month, another new beginning. Look how many new beginnings. No retrograde planets to do things from the past, whatever. We just forge forward. This is Jupiter becoming visible, new cycle becoming, plus Jupiter joining at the same time Neptune, a new 12-year cycle becoming. 12 years. This will never repeat again. Jupiter and Neptune meeting in your 2nd house in your life. So it's very rare influence. So there will be the seeds that are being planted now for something that might be bringing you back results for 12 years. And it's connected to your values. Something can be shifting in your values in a powerful way. And you'll notice from April onwards that they become more spiritualized. If till now your values were, maybe to have, what you valued was to have good food and to have this, garden, whatever. now you can consider, you can start feeling that it's becoming, when Jupiter Neptune are very spiritual, is becoming more spiritualized and influence your what you consider beautiful, valuable. Plus, it can be the beginning of a new circumstances for you financially. It can be, hopefully, I mean, Jupiter is abundant planet and it removes barriers, to remove any barriers for you financially. Something that you start as a project, as an idea, that it might take longer time, but you might benefit from it for many years ahead financially in some way. You might start working on it, or it can come as an inspiration to you in April. So pay attention what it is. It can be connected to resources, it can be connected to food, it can be connected to creating something like art, it can be connected to production of something, but anything that is connected to money, to finances, to tangibles, to valuables, as an opportunity or even divine blessing can come to you. I hope some of you can even start making a lot of money in April, because Jupiter and Neptune can be sometimes like this, without effort, attracting, with minimum, just through inspiration, just through divine grace and blessing, attracting some financial circumstances, some financial and material, like the law of attraction, you know, like whoop, falls on your lap, attracting some opportunities that might even seem too good to be true. I have to warn you, there is a tendency when Jupiter and Neptune are together, especially in a material house like the second one, to over idealize a situation, for it to look too good to be true. So you might start some financial or material, undertaking that might be, you might not know absolutely everything about, and it might be a bit too idealistic and too good to be true, but it still will have in it, because Jupiter participates, I think, even if it's a bit illusory and a bubble burst, you know, it will have in it seeds of future growth possibilities in that direction. The second house is also the house of food and what we put in our body. Well, kind of Jupiter and Neptune both don't have limits. You might eat a bit too much or overindulge on substances or kind of foods, but hopefully, let's hope for those of you that have reached that stage, that they can be freed, because Jupiter and Neptune can have a very freeing influence in Pisces, to let go, to free. You can be freed from some food addictions or from some unhealthy food habits and what you put in your mouth, and it can happen in a very natural, spontaneous way, because Jupiter and Neptune is like a lubricant that totally, very easily releases what needs to be released. Especially if you're eating because of trauma, you know, some people have like something to put in their mouth when they're traumatized or whatever, it can be released now. But be careful a little bit what you ingest around the conjunction around the 12th of April, because it can also be kind of like something poisonous, Neptune, or something that, you know, can a little bit, then Jupiter expands that. Just be a little bit careful that around the time, the 12th of April, around my birthday, I shouldn't be drinking. Wow, okay. Yes. But it can also be you being freed from something like a divine grace, also being freed from some material burden as well, and some material obligation as well. In that sense, it can have connotations that you can lose something materially, some savings or some money, because Jupiter and Neptune, they can be some kind of losses sometimes, especially in Pisces, but it's again through divine grace, because it's making space for something that's more valuable, of more deeper spiritual value that's coming to your life, or something that will be, again, that will have a more blessings in the long term, that it is making space for you. But again, I think and I hope for most of you, it can be like removing the barriers to financial stability and some opportunities appearing there. Now, and then we have the last but not the least, solar eclipse. It's starting. The solar eclipse is going to be in our 4th house. The sun and moon are joining together, new beginning, and this solar eclipse will be at 11 degrees in Taurus. So especially if you're in the first, you know, from 8 till 15 degrees Aquarius and moon rising, you can really feel it very strongly. but it's still in our fourth house, and this is a solar eclipse, which means new moon on steroids. uh, that can indicate as a beginning some crisis with the family, home, family members of some sort. And it's 1 year long, this eclipse. And let's hope it's this crisis, because it can lead to positive developments, because there is Rahu influence there, to gain something in the long term. But it can indicate, because it's Rahu is there, it can indicate that within a year, maybe from the end of April already and May, some of you can gain property. Some of you can expand their home or family. Some of you can add new members to the family, because Rahu gives something material and tangible. Some of you can relocate and move. It can be a year when there is a lot of changes with the family and home, and a lot of focus there, and kind of fated events there as well with family members. And of course, it's an eclipse. Sometimes it can be, those other fated events with family members. But because it's Rahu, I hope it gives more. Every time I had Rahu activating moon or fourth house, I gained something like a property or a family member. But you never know. It is an eclipse, so I have to warn that sometimes it can be other type of crisis, but still, some fated events there. Okay, so there you go. And yes, you can feel a bit more emotional with this eclipse in your fourth house, because the layers of your reality are shifting there. Of course, this is the foundations of your life. So these foundations you can feel a little bit shaken, but it can be quite exciting, because it's Uranus, something very new coming to you, like new property, new place of living, new family circumstances, and so on. So thank you so much, Aquarius. Very important month. We have the toughest planets in our sign, but the toughest planets make us a toughie, so we can undertake something that we've been afraid to do before, have the willpower, perseverance, and soldier-like determination and discipline to carry it through. Thank you so much, and I hope to join you, to see you in my class about learning how to interpret the natal chart with simple techniques that I've gathered from all kind of different astrology traditions. Thank you.